This prescription is clearly fake. I see these all the time. You people think you can just walk in here and get whatever you want." The words, sharp and cold, cut through the quiet hum of the pharmacy. Sergeant Major Thomas Ashton, retired, stood patiently at the counter. He was an older man, his face lined with the wisdom of years, his clothes simple and neat. He didn't look like a hero. He looked like anyone's grandfather. He had come for his heart medication, a prescription he refilled every month, a medication that kept him alive. Inside his worn leather wallet, nestled beside faded photos of his grandchildren, was a small, creased card. On it, a phone number. A number he had never used, given to him by a dear friend, a general, for a true emergency. He hoped today would not be that day. Thomas looked at the young pharmacy technician. Her name tag read, Brenda. She had an air about her, a feeling that she enjoyed the small power she held behind that counter. "Ma'am?" Thomas said, his voice calm and steady. "This prescription is from my doctor, Dr. Matthews. He's a heart specialist at the military hospital. I've been his patient for many years." Brenda snatched the paper slip from his hand. She held it up to the light with an exaggerated motion, as if examining a counterfeit bill. "Military hospital, you say? Funny. This doesn't look like any military script I've ever seen. The signature is all wrong." She wasn't just mistaken, she was accusing him, in front of other customers. Thomas felt a familiar ache, not in his heart, but in his spirit. The ache of being judged unfairly. He had served his country for over 30 years, faced dangers most people could only imagine. Yet here he was being treated like a cheat. "Perhaps you could call the doctor's office to verify it," Thomas suggested politely. He offered the phone number, which was printed clearly on the prescription. "His office can confirm everything." Brenda scoffed, a small, unpleasant sound. "Oh, I'm sure they can. And I'm sure Santa Claus is real too. I'm not wasting my time calling some fake number for a fake doctor. We have rules here. This is not valid." She pushed the prescription slip back towards him, dismissing him. A lady waiting in line behind Thomas shifted uncomfortably. An older gentleman cleared his throat, a look of disapproval on his face. "Ma'am," Thomas said, his voice still even, though a weariness crept in. "This medication is very important for my health. I need it." Brenda's eyes narrowed. "Look, sir, if you don't leave, I'll have to call security. We don't tolerate people trying to pass fake prescriptions here." Her voice rose, drawing more attention. "You people always have an excuse." "You people." Those words stung more than the accusation. Thomas felt the stares of the other customers. He felt the heat rise in his own face, not from anger, but from a deep, profound sadness. He had given so much, asked for so little, and now this. He thought about walking away. He could try another pharmacy, but what if they treated him the same way? This medication was vital. He could feel his heart beating a little faster, a little unsteadier, from the stress. Then he remembered the card in his wallet, the emergency number. His friend, General Peterson, had been clear. "Only if you're truly wronged, Thomas, if the system fails you." Was this such a moment? It felt like it. It felt like a system, represented by this one unkind person, was indeed failing him. Thomas nodded slowly. "All right," he said quietly. He took the prescription slip. He stepped away from the counter, moving to a quieter corner of the store. Brenda watched him, a smug look on her face, as if she had won some great victory. He pulled out his old, reliable cell phone and the creased card. His fingers, though steady, fumbled slightly as he dialed the number. It had been so long. The phone rang twice. Peterson. The voice on the other end was crisp, authoritative, but familiar. "General Peterson, it's Thomas Ashton, sir," Thomas said, keeping his voice low. "I apologize for calling you on this line. I wouldn't, unless it was important." "Thomas, it's good to hear your voice, though I wish it were under better circumstances. What's wrong? Are you all right?" There was genuine concern in the general's tone. Thomas explained the situation simply, factually. The pharmacy, the technician, the refusal, the accusation. He didn't raise his voice, he didn't exaggerate, he just told the truth. There was a moment of silence on the other end. Then, General Peterson spoke, his voice now like cold steel. "Stay right where you are, Thomas. Do not leave the pharmacy. This is unacceptable. This will be handled. Immediately. "Thank you, General," Thomas said, a wave of relief washing over him. He ended the call. He stood quietly, waiting. 10 minutes passed. 10 very long minutes. Brenda occasionally glanced over at him, a smirk playing on her lips. She probably thought he'd called a friend to complain, or maybe his wife. She had no idea. Other customers came and went. The pharmacist, a busy man in a white coat, occasionally looked up from his work, but seemed oblivious to the earlier confrontation. If you've ever felt unfairly judged, maybe type "I understand" in the comments below. It's a feeling no one should have to endure, especially not those who have sacrificed for others. Then the automatic doors of the pharmacy slid open with a swish. 2 people, a man and a woman, dressed in smart business suits, walked in purposefully. They moved with an air of authority. They looked around, their eyes scanning the pharmacy, and then fixed on Thomas. They approached him. "Sergeant Major Thomas Ashton?" the man asked, his voice polite but firm. Thomas nodded. "Yes, sir." "We're from the State Board of Pharmacy," the woman said, holding up an identification badge. "We received an urgent call regarding a problem with your prescription." At the counter, Brenda's smirk vanished. Her eyes widened. Her face went pale. She looked from the investigators to Thomas and back again, a dawning horror in her expression. Just then, a harried-looking man in a suit rushed into the pharmacy. He looked flustered and out of breath. "I'm Mark Jenkins, the regional manager for this pharmacy chain," he announced, heading straight for the investigators. "I got a call." A very urgent call. His eyes darted to Thomas, then to Brenda, who looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her. The lead investigator, Mr. Henderson, turned to Brenda. "Ma'am, I am Investigator Henderson, and this is Investigator Miller. Could you please explain why you refused to fill Sergeant Major Ashton's valid prescription from his military cardiologist?" Brenda stammered. I thought. It looked suspicious. I didn't know." Mr. Jenkins, the regional manager, stepped forward, his face grim. "Brenda, please step into the back office with me. Now." He then turned to Thomas, his expression one of deep apology. "Sergeant Major Ashton, on behalf of our entire company, I am so profoundly sorry for what you've experienced here today. There is absolutely no excuse for this." Investigator Miller spoke softly to Thomas. "Sir, we've already confirmed with Triker and Dr. Matthews' office. Your prescription is perfectly valid, as you knew. We also have a summary of your service. 32 years, multiple commendations, 2 Purple Hearts." She didn't say it loudly, but the regional manager heard, and his face grew even graver. This was what happened when you judged a book by its cover. Brenda was led away, looking small and defeated. The confidence she had shown earlier was completely gone. She knew she was in serious trouble. Mr. Jenkins personally took Thomas's prescription. "We will fill this immediately, Sergeant Major, at no charge, of course. And please, allow us to arrange for all your future medications to be delivered directly to your home if you wish, as a small token of our sincere apology." Thomas watched as the pharmacist, now looking very concerned, quickly and respectfully prepared his medication. The other customers in the store were silent, witnessing the entire scene unfold. Some looked ashamed on Brenda's behalf. Others looked at Thomas with newfound respect. The Board of Pharmacy investigators assured Thomas that a full investigation would take place regarding the technician's conduct and the pharmacy's procedures. "This kind of treatment, especially towards our veterans, is unacceptable," Investigator Henderson stated firmly. "We will ensure corrective actions are taken." Soon, Thomas had his medication in hand. He thanked the investigators and Mr. Jenkins, who reiterated his apologies. "Thank you for your help," Thomas said simply. He was not a man for grand speeches. He was just glad that things were made right. He was glad his friend, the general, had come through for him. He left the pharmacy, the weight of the earlier confrontation replaced by a quiet sense of justice. He knew this incident might lead to changes, to better training, to more respect for people like him. And it did. The pharmacy chain implemented new training programs across all its stores, focusing on customer service, especially for veterans, and an easier verification process for military prescriptions. Brenda, the technician, faced disciplinary action from the Board of Pharmacy and was required to undergo extensive retraining before she could work in a pharmacy again. Her days of wielding her small power so carelessly were over. Thomas Ashton continued his quiet life. He never bragged about what happened. But he felt a renewed sense that sometimes, even when things seem unfair, help can come from unexpected places, and right can prevail. He was glad he made that call. He was glad there were people who still cared about fairness and respect. This story reminds us that heroes don't always wear uniforms or medals on their chest in everyday life. They walk among us, quiet and unassuming. And they deserve our utmost respect and gratitude, not suspicion or dismissal. If you believe that every veteran deserves to be treated with dignity and honor, please type "Respect our vets" in the comments below. Every voice helps to reinforce this important message. Remember, a little kindness and understanding can go a long way, and judging someone before you know their story can lead to big mistakes. Thank you for watching. If stories like this, where justice is served and heroes are honored, matter to you, please consider subscribing to our channel for more.